Willie D Live.
What's up, family? So, the verses between No Limit and Cash Money for New Orleans music supremacy finally went down on Saturday. And it was a big deal, fam. Who y'all think won? Give me a thumbs up if you think No Limit won. 2 thumbs up if you think Cash Money won. Let me see where y'all at. In the meantime, in between time, let's get into it. So, Lil Wayne didn't show up. Obviously, Mystical was not there because he is in prison. That was high energy. Some people say that Cash Money won. Some people say No Limit won. Most of the comments I've seen, they've been giving it to No Limit, and specifically Mia X. People loved Mia X's energy. Both record labels had at least one artist who went public about feeling slighted that they were left out of the performance. On Cash Money's side, it was Turk. On No Limit side, it was Mercedes. Mercedes had the song I Can Tell, which featured Mac. Mercedes was actually at the venue. She had credentials, but she didn't perform. She said she was not invited to get on the stage and perform her own song. Somebody else performed her song, and she wanted to know, how does something like that happen? So she was mad. She said, well, actually, she was infuriated. She wants to sue No Limit. In fact, not want to, she said, I'm going to sue you. Prepare to get sued. Play with kids, don't play with me. She's going to sue No Limit. She's going to sue Master P for performing her song. I don't know if P owns the rights to the song or Mercedes owns the rights to the song. Let's assume Mercedes owns the right to the song. The right to perform a musical composition publicly is one of the rights granted to a copyright holder under copyright law. However, the lawsuits are typically aimed at the venue or establishment, not the individual. And that is because most public performances are licensed through a PRO, which is known as a performing rights organization, and the venue is responsible for maintaining licenses. So I don't know how much action she has at getting at P directly, but she can get at the venue. But I really don't see this going anywhere. Some people say it was a big moment and she should have been on stage. Others say, I don't even remember her. I don't know her music. We didn't miss her. I don't like when people are dismissive of artists like that, because that album that she put out under No Limit, I don't know if it was her one and only, but I do know it was a big album, and it sold a lot of records primarily because of that album cover. That album cover with her bending over the front of that hood, that superimposed car, that did numbers, and that made Master P a lot of money. That made No Limit a lot of money. And people have to remember, when you have a record label and you have more than one artist signed to that record label and you're releasing artists, that one artist, that main group, might be your cash cow, but it is the collective that makes you a label. I do agree that it was a big moment for the label. So being a part of the label, Mercedes has every right to feel offended. Having said that, there are other artists who are even more popular that did not hit the stage, and that included Master P's own son, Romeo. Serve didn't perform. I was told by an inside source at No Limit that they only had an hour and a half to perform the entire show, and the amount of songs were limited. That source also said that they had to cut at least 3 songs from the list that they actually came up with, which is called the set list, right? So that song initially was not on the set list. Mac was not initially going to perform. So they kind of squeezed that in for him to perform, I guess, because he was there and, they wanted to, show love. But apparently, Mercedes was not personally invited by P. I'm saying personally because somebody else may have invited her, but personally, there was no invite from the label for her to come and perform. This is why she was outside with no credentials. When she was outside complaining about credentials, not having credentials to get in, from what I'm told is that she didn't have credentials because she was not invited to that particular event. At some point, someone affiliated with the label got wind that she was outside, and they went and got her some credentials so that she could get in. And then that's when we saw the video of her where she was hot about not being allowed to get on stage and, somebody else performing her song. I can understand it, fam, because I would be hot too. If I was a No Limit artist and I was at that venue and somebody else performed my song, a song that I'm on, and I'm not even invited, I barely got in, I'm gonna be hot. I'm absolutely going to be hot. So I can understand, her frustrations. I can understand her anger. Having said that, this is one of those things that go on in the music industry. This goes on a lot. And you got to take a lot of heat. At times when you are the general, you got to make the call. From what I understand, they were performing their best songs. They were performing the songs that they thought that could get the most traction. The songs that was the performance songs, the ones that they was gonna get the crowd pumped with. And I said that before any of this stuff ever broke out. I said that Master P was gonna bring energy. He was gonna bring the energy, and that's how they was gonna level out on those Cash Money hits. That energy, because I've seen that show. I've seen Master P and No Limit on that stage, and they rowdy, body on that stage. And I said that would be the equalizer. And true enough, that's exactly what happened. So they were performing the songs, the up and down songs. However, they squeezed in that song. They did make an exception for Mac to perform that song. I don't know if they knew, and that was last minute exception from what I understand. I don't know if they knew Mercedes was in the building. I would like to believe that if they knew Mercedes was in the building and that song was in the lineup, let her at least get on that stage and say something, do something. Show a little love. Unless it's a problem. Now, if it's a problem, now I get it. That if it's a problem, it's a problem, because I'm going to be straight up with y'all, fam. If I got a problem with somebody, then I got a problem, right? it's going to be a problem. But if it ain't no problem, ain't no problem. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.